Dying of the heat, bro.
Yeah, right. You're gonna send us an invite to the lobby?
Yes. I just need to get an invite from these guys quickly.
Yes, I'm excited for this, eh?
Something new.
It is something new. You always learn, eh?
Definitely.
Alvin is gonna make us wise.
Yeah.
Well, I will try, boys. I will try.
So how's the new work, bud? Or should I not
That's
ask
okay.
those questions now?
Yeah, we're actually running live at the moment. Junaid, do me a
Yes.
favor, check on that Twitch link that I sent you.
Yes.
Alright, check if Talk of the Devil TOTD Academy League is live.
Checking. I'm just opening it on my mobile. What should they be doing now?
It'll be
China.
China. Yes.
Sure. China's showing now.
Okay.
Okay, they're racing now.
Are they racing or are they quali? No, it's quali 2.
No, it's
Right.
not racing yet.
Okay, just give me 2 seconds, boys.
Sure.
Right, waiting for you. So they're racing China, eh?
Yeah, it's China. I see now on the link. And I see on
Nice.
there as well, our commentary's live. Do you know any of the guys racing here, Willem?
Well, I can't see the lobby.
Yeah.
Is there a guy by the name of Glenn? The game attack with
Let me
Glenn.
check for you.
Yeah, just hold on, boys. Unfortunately, they seem to have too many spectators in, and I need them to get out of the lobby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just give me 2 seconds, boys. However, if
Okay.
did I send you the link, Willem?
No, you haven't?
I'll send it to him
Okay, so
quickly.
what I will do is, yeah, please send it to him so that he can also
Sure, no
go
problem.
and watch the stream so long
100%.
while we wait for.
Yes.
Is it the link on
Hey,
Xbox or is it the link on
It's a Twitch
WhatsApp?
link. It's a Twitch link, so he'll send it to you, and then
Just sent it now.
Perfect.
you should
Got
be able
it.
to open it via Twitch.
Got it. Got it.
Okay, let me in. Right.
Okay, Mike, awesome, I know. Winter is also in there. Winterish Iowa.
Okay, I've sent you. I've sent you an invite, Willem.
Sure. Winterish Iowa is
Okay,
actually our top guy in RLSA League.
Yes, yes,
So we're
Alright,
gonna
so you're
expect
gonna
the good
spectate,
results
bro?
from him. Yeah, boy.
yes.
I'm doing that.
Okay.
Because I'm
Alright,
gonna close the link.
Yeah. So, am I live there, Zunaid?
Yes, you're on.
All right. Now I need you to make sure that you can hear yourself, you, me, and Willem quickly.
Alright, it's just loading here. But yeah, I heard all of us, our conversation, yes.
All right. Fantastic. I just want to make sure.
Tell me quickly, is this realistic performance? Equal.
It's realistic performance, full qualifying session. Yes.
Okay, this is impressive stuff then.
Okay.
Hey, Mr. Braden.
So Gary's there as well.
Yes. So it's, Winter, Willem, and we've got Gary Braden representing South Africa.
That's interesting, yeah. Should be a good race there. From the guys I know, it's
Gary did very well in
competition.
the first race in Australia, taking pole position and then leading that race all the way through.
Well, that's
Alright.
good.
they're cutting over to qualifying 2 now, Ivan.
Yes, I see that now. I'm just waiting for my advert to finish on Twitch.
Winterish Iowa is very consistent, eh? Yes, he's fast, eh? He's really, really fast. In a Williams, 134.5. Okay, well, that's soft. But I mean, that's faster than the Red Bull. It's faster than the McLaren. He's right up there with Force India, or Racing Point as it is known now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Talk of the Devil Round 3, Season 2, Shanghai, China. You are catching myself, Ivan Dalport, and I have two guest commentators with me, Zunaid and Willem. Good evening, boys.
Good evening, Ivan.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for joining me and Talk of the Devil for round 3. Gentlemen, we are going to be spectating the last bit of the qualifying sessions, and then we were going to go and do the full race. Fantastic. So, gentlemen, what we will do is I will basically be the crafty of us three, and then the two of you can share Martin Brunder's duties. One, please take a look for pit stops, and the other one, take a look on gaps and goodies like that for me.
100%.
100%, let's do it.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, gentlemen. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is qualifying 2. Just a couple of seconds left. And as we take a look here, we'll go from the top of the tables. We've got Stephen in the Mercedes-Benz running at the moment. My lovely wife has mixed all my paperwork here. So now I need to find... Alright, there we go. Okay, so we have Stephen in the Oh, Braden just comes through with a 131.685. 686.
That is insane.
That's not bad by the Ferrari. Really, that is a really good time.
I actually...
That gives him pole.
I actually know...
Well, it gives him provisional pole now,
Gitz,
yeah.
And Gitz is not a slow guy. For Gary to pull that lap on Gitz, that's impressive.
That is a very good lap by him. So we've got Gary Braden sitting on the top of the timesheet at the moment as qualifying 2 ends. We have the Mercedes-Benz of Stephen, and then his sister car in the Mercedes-Benz. We have Callum, the current TOTD League World Champion. Then we have the sister Ferrari being covered by one of the reserve drivers. We have in 5th place Dean the Fat Bean, also known as Dino in the Red Bull. We have the first of the Alphas running in 6th place. Caesar running in 7th in the Force Point Racing. We've got Kyle running in 8th in the McLaren. Kieran in 9th. And rounding up the top 10 there would be Willem in the Williams with a 134.568. That's not bad run from Willem there.
Yeah, that's a consistent time from Winter, because we had a China race like a week ago, and those times was the times that he actually managed throughout the race. So just one thing to point out, Willem is a fast guy. He's the top of our league in RLSA, and for him to pull those laps just shows again what quality driver he is, to pull consistent lap times though.
Yes, he's definitely consistent. Yes, Zuna, sorry.
Apologies, Ivan. I've got some questions from the chat room. Glenn 1981 wants to know what's the weather forecast for the weekend or for the race?
Well, Glenn, you are as in the dark as us in the commentary. The weather is set to dynamic so that we can keep it all even for all drivers, so not even the admin will know what is the weather. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens in the beginning of the race.
Now we're moving over to
Fantastic. Yes, I like that. I like that, Zunaid. So you keeping up with the questions. I really do appreciate that. All right. So the results for the Q2, we've got Ferrari, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, Alfa Romeo. That is a brilliant lap there by the Alfa Romeo driver, sitting in 6th. Then we've got Point Racing, McLaren, Red Bull, Williams, Alfa, McLaren, and Renault. And you will see the bottom 4 have been kicked out, so that we go through to the shootout for the top 10 drivers. As you can see there, the tyre strategy is going to come into play. So the top 3 are all on softs, and then you've got 2 mediums, and then the rest of the field is down on soft tyres.
I think personally that's going to be working the best here is going to be starting with the 2 softs and then go over to a medium, making it a 2-stop. If this is, however, 100% race.
Well, tyre strategies are going to play a big role tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Being that this track is known for the high-speed turns, that would be corner 13, 12 and 13, being that banked right-hander, and then you hit that 1.2 kilometers straight. One of the longest straights on the F1 calendar, Bahrain being the longest.
I think soft is going to play a big role in this race.
Yes, Baku being the longest, yes. Right, ladies and gentlemen, so this is the beginning of Q3. As you can see, we have our reigning champ coming out of the pit box, and a Red Bull behind him. And who's that in front of Callum? That would be the McLaren of Kyle.
And they're out
as
on
we
softs.
ride on board with McLaren. And yes, well, it is the penalty shootout, so I'm expecting a lot of the guys to go out in the softs to determine their grid slots. Let's get some information on the board here for you, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic.
Our expectations for Gary now coming first in Q2 on the soft, so I think the pressure on himself is at that point we will expect to get pole.
Well, it's quite a long run down to that first corner, so I don't know if having pole would be to the benefit. I mean, you're going to be giving the person who sits in second a really good tow. As we see
get the most,
Kyle giving space there to the Merc. So we will ride on board with Callum, the reigning champion at the moment.
Ivan, what's the standings like now?
Yes.
Who's leading this championship?
To be honest with you, I haven't been able to take a look at that at the moment. I shall actually take a look at that as we get into the first bit of the race. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, this is qualifying 3, round 3, season 2 of the Talk of the Devil League. You are joined by myself, Ivan Dalport, and my 2 guest commentators, Zunaid and Willem.
Welcome everyone.
That would be William to our British viewers.
Yeah, the accent might be different. Oh, I just saw the Force India going off there on his outlap. I don't know if that's going to compromise his tyres now. Let's see.
I don't think so. Right, and as we are currently spectating on Callum, he is coming around.
This is an interesting top 10, eh?
It is a very interesting top 10. I mean, if you look at it, you've got a Williams up in the top 10. You've definitely got a Salba up in the top 10. That is an amazing drive by the Salba driver.
That being what, the second or third slowest car on the grid in F1 2019?
Yes, that would be the second slowest on the grid, yes.
That's amazing. Dean the Fat Bean is not doing bad, you know.
Well, he's been quite consistent, quite over the first couple of races. Right, ladies and gentlemen, and Callum sets the first lap of the qualifying. That puts him in provisional pole with a 1:31.7. And the times are now coming in. We've got the Alpha doing a 1:33, and just as I say that, we have Dean in the Red Bull doing a 1:32. That's a 1:31.7. Is not a bad time at all. Really, it's a really impressive time there by Caleb. Who have we got on
What
our
stands
outlap?
out for me now at the moment,
Gary
there's a
Braden.
big gap. There's a big gap between first and fifth. If you look at the timing
I
sheets.
see Gary.
Yes,
Yes,
it
there
is.
is. Oh, and as I say that, we have the Ferrari doing a 1:31.8. That's really not a bad time. That is 0.149 seconds off of first place at the moment.
Tenth and a half, you know, for a Merc and a Mercedes. We would have thought that the Ferrari would have the benefit on the two straights on this track, but let's see what happens. There's still time left here.
Yes. Well, the Ferrari has definitely got the straight line speed. And as we know, the Ferrari is lacking a little bit in downforce around the corners. I'm currently spectating on Gary Braden.
I'm
Yellow
on
flags in sector
Snake
3.
Hips.
Right,
Which
we
is the
will then
second
go
Merc.
with Snake Hips. He is on an out lap. We've got Willem on an out lap. Let's spectate a little bit with him. Alright, as he is coming into corner 11, 12, and 13. And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, it is a banked corner.
It's a very difficult corner this to get right.
Yes, your braking zones are very important into that corner.
The other thing is you've got so many lines that you can take through that corner. And all of them give you the same outcome. It's how you take them and how you get onto the power. Early enough or too early can cost you your lap, even your race.
Yes, it's all about the short sifting around that corner. Right, as Willem starts his qualifying lap, his first run, DRS is open up to 322 kilometers an hour. Going down the first long corner into the tight second, then into third corner, it's second gear, and then it's foot down to corner 4, which you don't really worry about, and then corner 5.
Also very
Looking
difficult.
very neat and tidy there for his line. And then we hit the long corner 6. 7, 8, 9,
Keeping it tight.
10, and then it's a short burst down to 11. Hitting about 290 k's an hour, then down to second gear, 11, 12, looking very smooth there, into 13, and he does do the short shift, looking very nice down to the beginning of the straight. DRS open, hitting speeds of 328, 330 k's, 331 k's an hour, down hard on the brakes into corner 14, and then corner 15, 16, there we go. Right, and as he comes across the line, he does a 1:34.1, which puts him in 8th place currently. And
that is
as
a
we look
better
at the
lap.
timesheets, Snake Hips, Stephen has just posted a 1:31.544. That is a lap and a half by Stephen.
That's impressive times, eh? That's impressive times.
So the top 3 all in the 1:31 mark.
And that's what I wanted to say in the beginning of this qualifying session when we started seeing these lap times coming in. You wanted to see them being close. And it's starting to get closer now because we had a 1.9 second gap between first and fifth. It's down to 1 second. It's getting faster and
Highly
faster.
impressive. And these, ladies and gentlemen, is the run for the for the shootout to determine their racing positions for the top 10.
Sorry, Ivan, to overhear you, but I think you're on the penalty shooter. Have you been watching soccer this weekend?
I have been watching soccer. I was actually watching a
Great
stream
stuff.
by Lando Norris and Max Verstappen earlier
Great
today
stuff.
of
Great
them with
stuff.
FIFA 19. So for some reason I got stuck with penalty shootout.
Well done. At least be sportive, though. Supporting all
Well, you
kind
know
of
what?
sports here.
You gotta love all types of sport, boy.
That's it. That's it.
Whether it be Formula One, football.
I actually play
It's
FIFA myself. It's quite nice. Nonetheless, I see
yes,
there's
and
another Ferrari going out here for a second run, and it seems like who is
it
this?
seems to. That is
Number 13.
number 13 would be
Gary.
Gary Braden. Gary Braden. Oh, this is going to be a nice one. He's definitely going to be running a low fuel load. I think he's going to try and either get pole or at least put himself between the two Mercedes-Benz. His
Ivan,
teammate
if
in the
you-
system Ferrari is also out.
Yes. If you have a close look at what Gary's technique is, check all the short shifts, spinning the tires around this outlap, just hitting them enough and not causing any extra degradation around the track to get a perfect last lap in. This is excellent stuff from
Yeah.
Gary Braden.
Yes, Gary Braden is doing his thing. And he was very impressive last season. He is the only Talk of the Devil driver to lap every single person on the grid. And he did that last year at Singapore.
Wow. Now that's
That
a
is
stat.
really impressive. It gave him drive of the season in the
Well, you
award
would suspect it.
ceremony that was held a few months ago.
You will expect that
Right,
to be a
and we
drive
will
of the season.
drive on board with Gary Braden and see how that Ferrari handles around the Shanghai circuit.
Ivan, you're going to take us through the lap?
Right, and as we come down to the start straight finish line, Gary Braden has DRS open, coming down to 330 k's an hour, hitting the first corner. Very brave on the curb there by Gary Braden. Gearing down into second corner, into the third corner. Looking very nice and smooth, running it out wide, coming in. Yes, looking nice for corner 4 there. Then he comes into corner 5. Looking very smooth. Running nicely onto the curb. Now it's the test of bravery into corner 6, 7 and 8. Right, then we go through to corner 9, running a little bit wide there, running on the curb for corner 10, gives him a bit of a better pull off, or pull straight down the short straight here into corner 11, nicely done. Now smooth around corner 12, and then running wide a little bit so you can come in towards the apex of corner 13. And Callum does a 1:31.426. That is an impressive time. And the Ferrari has split
nice.
the... Oh, and Gary Braden gets a bit of a toe there by his teammate down the back straight. Very smooth, clipping the apex nicely on corner 14. 15, you don't really worry about coming to corner 16, the last corner of the lap. Looking nice. DRS is open. What does Gary Braden do? And Gary Braden comes across the line and does a 1:31.049. Wow,
Oh
taking
my
provisional
word.
pole. And that is essentially... Oh, excuse me.
That is pole. That is
The-
pole position.
That is pole position.
Dean
Very
coming
well
around
done by
the
Gary
hairpin now.
Braden.
Well, it's not
And
over
we
yet.
have-
Dean's coming around.
Dean in the Red Bull coming around the last corner.
And
DRS
he
is
won't
open.
make it.
And he does a 1:32.3. That puts him in 5th place. So he puts himself in 5th place. So, ladies and
think
gentlemen,
what
we
Dean's
have Kyle,
compromised
the
himself.
last of the runners. And Kyle pulls into the pit lane. So, ladies and gentlemen, so the end of Q3, you got Gary Braden with a 1:31.049. How impressive is that lap by Gary Braden? I mean, that's 3/10 faster than the reigning world champion at the moment.
Ivan, I must say, I don't know if Nate's going to agree with me or not, but have you seen the preparation lap for Gary? That's the whole key to his fastest lap here now. If you looked at
I've
it,
noticed,
he was
Willem.
going short shift. He was sparing everything he could for that fast lap, having the perfect tire pressures and temperatures around this track. If you look at it, it's cloudy. The softs just worked out for Gary today. What a lap.
No, definitely,
What
definitely,
a lap.
Willem. And like you say, his
Very,
preparation to
very
that
well
lap
done.
was just important.
That was
Getting
shocking
comments back
stuff,
here
I
again.
must give it.
And the guys are
Any comments there from
congratulating Gary.
the spectators, Junaid?
Can you hear me there, Ivan?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay, so like I said now, Willem, as you said, spot on. The preparation to that lap, beautiful. We've got some comments from the fans coming in, or our viewers saying that a nice lap, Gary. So everyone agreeing with all of us here. Beautiful lap.
Right,
We
so
must
we just
just
take a
hand it
look
to
at
Gary,
the final
eh?
standings here. We've got Gary Braden in first, Callum in second, his teammate in third for the Ferrari, and then we've got Stephen in fourth, Dean in fifth, Kyle in sixth, Caesar in seventh, the Alfa Romeo running in eighth, Kieran in the Sister Red Bull in ninth, and rounding out the top 10 would be Willem in the Williams. That is a really good lap by the Williams driver.
If we could just see this grid in real life Formula One, I would be ecstatic. I would sell my house to go watch races. Oh, it's a wet race, guys. It's a wet race.
Is it a wet race?
It's a wet race. It's in the
Nice.
rain.
It is a wet race, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to
my word.
spice things up completely.
Can
Oh
I
my
just
word, we
say
had a
this?
wet qualifying session in Australia. We had quite a dry run with the track in Bahrain, and now round 3 is going to be a wet start.
Awesome.
Wow. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Talk of the Devil Season 2, Round 3, 2019, Shanghai, China. Ladies and gentlemen, this was F1000 in the Formula One world. Over the 1000 races, that is 69 seasons and 33 different world champions. Shanghai, China, 56 laps, 16 corners, 9 to the right, 9 to the left, and 9 to the right. This track is 3.83 miles long, or 5.451 kilometers in length. Top speed here last year in 2018 was 216 miles per hour, or 348 kilometers an hour. Average speed, you're looking at about 133 miles an hour to 214 kilometers an hour. Laps done in on this track. Laps are done at full throttle for 72% of race distance. However, that will change with the wet weather tonight, ladies and gentlemen. As you're moving down at the start straight, finish line, or down the back straight, the long back straight, you usually hit about 200 miles an hour, 320 k's an hour. I don't think we'll be seeing those type of speeds with the wet weather. This track has plenty of overtaking to be done here. This track also holds the record for most overtakes in a dry race. Action zones to be looking out for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, would be corner 1, Daniel Kvyat overtaking the two Ferraris in 2016, as Vettel and Raikkonen were teammates in the Ferraris, coming together and giving one another some damage. They just barely made it out of that first turn. Then we go down the track to corner turn 6, where in 2017, and the guys are ready to reading up.
Oh, this is not promotion that bad. This is now key.
And
This is now key.
this
Get
is
your
go.
ingredients on.
And
Already
we've got
have-
some action happening there. We've got a Williams hitting the Red Bull, and we're taking a look down here at the top 3.
That's Winter.
We have the two
That's
Ferraris challenging one another. So Gary Braden sitting in first, Callum coming with the Mercedes in second place. We have the Ferrari behind him in third, Kyle up to fourth place. We have the Alfa Romeo running in fifth place, Caesar in sixth. We've got Stephen down in seventh. He really didn't have a good start there by Stephen in the Mercedes-Benz. We have and we just as we're saying that, we've got Mike Handel running up into 8th place, and we've got a few switches there. We can see that Stephen is coming up the ranks there now in 6th place. Mike and the Williams down in 8th. We've got the second McLaren running in ninth. The two Red Bulls, as you can see, running quite even there in 11th and 10th respectively. The two Renaults. Oh, and Gary Braddon spins. Oh, there's a big pile up down there. Oh, my word.
Shit.
So that puts Gary Braddon down into 4th place. That gives the reigning world champion in the McLaren Callum in 1st, and we've got yellow flags in sector 3.
That's not be
So we have
Zola, McLaren that went off.
Right, so ladies and gentlemen, as we're coming around the hairpin for the first time of this track, we have the Ferrari challenging the McLaren of Kyle. The Ferrari taking him in that hairpin. And we got Gary Braddon, so the first lap done, and that is the fastest lap at the...
It's an accident.
Oh,
last
and
corner.
we've got an incident down in the first corner, or in the last corner. That is the McLaren and the racing point of Caesar. Oh, some interesting events happening on this first lap of round 3 of the Talk of the Devil League, being the first start of a wet race this season. Zunaid, can you give us any updates there on the chats there?
So the chats seem to be quiet. The last communication I got was with the guys just congratulating Gary. It's a bit quiet in this side, Ivan. I think all the fun is happening on the race itself. Over to you and Willem then.
Fantastic. And we're taking a look here. We are riding with the Alfa Romeo, running in 5th place. He's definitely had a good start there from the beginning. We're on lap 2. And ladies and gentlemen, if you've just joined us, we've had some interesting events in the first lap. Gary Braddon running wide, coming down into 4th place, giving the reigning champion first at the moment. So we running in the second lap. We have the Mercedes, a Ferrari, we have a McLaren, the sister Ferrari of Gary Braddon, a Alfa Romeo. The Ferrari motors definitely showing up tonight, wouldn't you say, Willem?
Alvin, I must say, the first lap, even the pull away, I must just get back to this quickly. Willem Brits has been compromised by a Red Bull driver not getting off the line, causing him excessive wing damage. Then we had the last corner incident where the McLaren and the Racing Point went off. Coming back to Gary Braddon, what a start for him from quali 3, putting away on pole position and then just getting a little bit eager on the throttle on the exit of corner 13 or 12, I think. This is going to be a race. I mean, this has just started off hectic, action-packed first 3 laps.
Right, yes, I will agree with you 100%. So we'll take a look here. We've got a gap of under a second between the Ferrari of Gary and the McLaren of Kyle. Ladies and gentlemen, just so you know that in a wet race, the DRS is not active. However, if the race should dry out, DRS will be active, and that will give the guys a bit of an extra boost down the back straight. So just to give you a recap of the standings at the moment, we have the McLaren of Callum, the Ferrari of Baird Boost. We've got Gary Braddon running in 3rd, the McLaren of Kyle in 4th, the Alfa running in 5th.
We have an off. Toro Rosso is
we
off
have
11th. I just had to interrupt you there, Ivan.
No, that's perfectly fine. So with Kieran going wide, that then gives the 2 Renault drivers the last of the points paying positions. The 2 Renault
We've got a
drivers
battle for
running
12th.
nicely there.
The
And there's a
Sauber,
battle for 12th. The
Sauber
Sauber of... that would be... Oh, that is the Alpha of Devon.
Oh yes, it's Alpha now. Hey? It's not Sauber anymore.
Yes,
We're
yes.
still living in
Alfa
last
Romeo.
season here.
Yeah, Alfa Romeo coming back into the sport officially. And if you think about it, they've got a long history with Formula One, technically being the first team to win the first F1 race in 1950.
That's some heritage, eh?
It is a long line of heritage. Technically, if you have to look at it, they've got more of a heritage within Formula One than Ferrari. However, Ferrari has been consistently in the sport.
That's right.
Gentlemen.
That's a good fact.
Yes, Zunaid.
Willem, Ivan, you guys obviously very experienced with Formula One racing. With the wet race now, do you think it's going to come down to strategy, tire selection?
Well,
do you pin it down purely just to strategy? Is it going to be wet race throughout?
Put it like this, Zunaid, that you do have your choice of the intermediates and the full wets. Usually on a race weekend, you get 4 sets of intermediates and 2 sets of wets. So it could come into play with tire strategies. But as I look at the sky at the moment, I do see some blue sky coming through. So it could be the fact that the race could dry out.
I must agree with you, Ivan. I mean, the intermediates is a tire that, it's a very tricky tire because the moment you just get a little bit more wet or a little bit dry, you're going to see a lot of degradation on these tires. The guys would either benefit or they're going to lose out. But I think it's going to play a big role on timing here today. If this should go down to a dry end on the race, it's going to be all about the timing and it's going to be about the team getting that right in the strategy. That's where it's going to get down to answer your questions now. It's not the easiest race to do, especially for the drivers. It's very tricky conditions, but your timing is key when the weather changes.
Fully agree. Comments coming back to us is guys are predicting, is it Meadowby? Do I pronounce that correct?
Yes.
Be on the podium. He's one of the selections to be on the podium. I think it's a bit early to call it now. I'm waiting for the first strategy to take place.
Well, as we were discussing there, Willem, Gary Braden taking his teammate's position now, running in second. So now he's got a 2.7 gap to chase down to grab Callum in first. So with a change of position, we've got the Mercedes running in first and the 2 Ferraris running in second and third. I'm currently watching this battle between. I'm currently watching the battle between the Alfa Romeo and the Red Bull, and Stephen in the Mercedes Benz.
I think he's going to benefit out of this because remember now, if you start battling in front of another driver that's within DRS zone, you compromised. I think there might be some benefit for the Mercedes driver here. Let's see how it works out.
And Dean comes around, takes on the inside, forces the Alfa Romeo go wide, and Stephen is also now fighting with that Alfa Romeo. Will he keep it calm? Yes, he stays behind that Alfa Romeo. So Dean taking 5th place from the Alfa Romeo, and Stephen running very wide there in the last corner. Will that give him a bit of a pull down at the main straight? Coming into the first corner, the guys are going to have to be very, very gentle around here. All right, and Stephen coming on the inside, which will give the Alpha the inside on corner 3. Very close battling between the two of them.
Difficult.
And the Alpha coming out tops in that battle. Stephen tucks in behind the Alpha, coming towards corner 4 into corner 5. And there we will stick with this battle at the moment.
Ivan, while you keep an eye on that, I've got another battle here coming for 13th, 12th, and 13th and 12th is the Renault from Chantar and number 12 the Racing Point. These guys are also close to one another. I
see that Caesar is ahead of the Renault there.
Yeah. I think he's just having
and
the best.
And he is chasing down the sister Alpha of Devon. Right, let's move back up the list here and get back to this battle between the Alfa Romeo and the Merc of Steven. As they come around corner 13, Steven will definitely have a really good toe. He's on the inside of the Alpha running wide a little bit. Side by side as they come down the main straight, back straight. There is no DRS in the wet weather. Steven on the inside. He's going to have the better line. He's taken that place from the Alfa Romeo. He is now up into... Oh, and he runs wide, giving the place back to the Alfa Romeo driver. I think he was too hesitant with his brakes on that corner, Willem.
Yeah, he braked a bit late. I could see that coming into the corner, taking note of your commentary. Definitely had the speed on the Alpha there, but going under the brakes
and
on this
as
type
you
of
say
weather.
that, sorry to interrupt, he's taking the Alfa Romeo on the outside of corner 1. It's going to be quiet. He's got the inside line for corner 3. Will he be able to keep it under control? He does, and Steven has taken that position from the Alfa Romeo, pushing him up into 5th place. While we were discussing, boys, I've noticed that gap from between 1st and 2nd has come down to 1.1 seconds.
Yeah, we must keep it to Gary, eh? Gary's having an exceptional race here. Compromised a little bit in the beginning of the race, but keeping his head as a quality driver as he is, it's showing right now. This is something to watch out for.
Winter's making a huge progress from the back of the grid. I see he's pushing up quite fast. Just keep an eye on him as well.
Not to mention, he was 20 seconds behind, having compromised his front wing. So that is an exceptional draft coming to 16th. Well spotted there, Zunad.
Very well spotted, and we are now spectating with Willem at the moment, while he chases down the Haas of Gareth.
Ivan, sorry to interrupt you, but we've got a battle here for first. There's a half a second gap now between Callum and Gary Braden.
Yes, what and we will now spectate with this. We will stay on board with this battle here in the front, and we will go with the onboard shot of Gary Braden as he comes down into the first corner. You can definitely see the back wing of Callum there. Oh, Callum going very wide, allowing Gary Braden to creep up to him. That gap is now under half a second, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be
something I would look out to. Your dirty air now, Gary needs to be very, very, very careful of that. Dirty air, wet weather, it's not something you want.
Definitely not. We are now spectating from outside.
You can see understeers there. Got a bit of understeer going into that corner entry there, Ivan.
That gap is now at 3 tenths of a gap now. I think Gary will play it smart and take a run down the back straight.
He's going to save everything up. I see he is running in overtake mode at the moment. He's on full 11 mode with that Ferrari. I think he's going to take him. Let's have a look. This is going to be something to see.
Right, as they come around corner
motor turned up to 11.
And as you can see, Callum has also turned up that motor of that Mercedes-Benz. Opened that gap up nicely. Got a really good pull-out run-off from corner 13, so he's kept that position at the moment.
Gary just opening that dirty air to get his brakes running. Getting out of the back of that Mercedes gearbox. Oh, what a quality drive.
So... running lap 9 now of round 3, Shanghai, China. F1000, Junaid and Willem, for this year. I mean, think about it. I mean, 69 seasons and 33 different world champions. If I had to ask, who is your top world champion on that list? If I may ask Willem.
I must give it to the legends. I mean, Nigel Mansell, Ayrton Senna, those guys were legends. I mean, they were in an era where there was no fear at all. If you go back and you go look at some of those guys racing, yes, I'm too young to even compromise the race. I've never seen one of those live because I'm just too young. But to go back and look at what those guys did with what they had, those guys are legends. No
yes, I
fear at
mean,
all.
running the V12s, the V10s.
Fully agree.
Was yes. Zunaid, who would be your
Ivan, for me, I
top
think I love the
champion?
It's hard to call, like Willem said, but my favorite was the Mika Hakkinen Michael Schumacher challenge, or the era rather.
Yes,
I
so
really
you're
enjoyed
looking
it,
at
yeah.
the late 90s, beginning of 2000.
That's it. That was the
And
best
with
time for
David
me.
Coulthard,
Yes.
eh?
Don't forget these.
Well, David Coulthard was Mika Hakkinen's teammate
Correct.
in McLaren through
In
those
that
years.
West McLaren, eh? Black and white
Yes.
livery
Yes.
on that West
Yes.
McLaren. Guys, how?
Yes.
Who was
that's when-
Schumi's part?
Yes. Yeah, that was just amazing racing.
Schumi had quite a few partners, wasn't it? It was Eddie Irvine. It was he had
yes,
quite a
in the
few.
beginning it was Irvine, but one of his longest teammates through that era would have been Rubens Barrichello.
Rubens, correct? Yes.
Yes.
What a legend himself, guys.
dude.
Don't pull away from
True,
that
give it
killer,
to him.
eh? Yes, he driving
Yes,
for
no,
Williams,
that,
going up the ranks.
I mean, he did well, winning 3 races in 2009, I think it was, with the Braun racing car. I mean, if you go, if you have to look at it, I mean,
which we
Braun.
know, was actually
Yes, yes.
Mercedes at a point, eh?
Well, it is essentially Mercedes. I mean, Mercedes brought the team over.
That's
Braun coming through, which was run by Ron Dennis, or Ross Braun, sorry. Ross Braun. They were only there for the one season. Ross Braun found the loophole within the rules and had a really big diffuser on the back of their car, which gave them a massive amount of downforce. And what an only team,
yes.
I think, that's in F1 history, debut season and taking the world championship, and having Jenson Button taking the drivers championship as well that year.
Amazing.
Guys,
Well,
just to
it's
put a damping on, on this excitement here, we've got the bottom 5 runners here, and I'm going to exclude Willem Brits at the moment. We've got 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th, where we have 2 Haas drivers. Do you guys think they had the strategy wrong here, or the setups wrong? Because they look
I really think
struggling
that
today.
yes. Well, you can definitely see the experienced drivers, or Gary taking a look there at Callum down into the hairpin of corner 14. And while this battle is going on, it's allowed Gary Braden's teammate in the sister Ferrari to slowly creep up to them.
That's what I said in the beginning of this. If you've got a battle in front, you need to keep an eye on the car behind you, because you're losing a lot of lap time trying to compromise your race techniques. You need to brake a bit earlier, get early on the throttle. That everything works for the guy that's following the battle. And you would see that gap going down to 7/10 now for the sister Ferrari of Beer Boost.
Yes. It's definitely looking really interesting there. Gentlemen, I will be back in 2 seconds.
No problem. I'll let you take it over.
Tonight, yes. Is there anything else on the chat?
Well, the chat have been really quiet. I've been pushing for questions and trying to entertain the people and making some comments, but I think everyone's concentrating on the race.
This
This
race, tonight. This is like, this is what everyone wants to see in Formula One, because if you had a dry race now, I could say that we're gonna have top 4 guys running away with the race. You're gonna have a top 4 horse race here, but this is so close. If you look at the top 6 guys, there's one mistake and you've got a new leader here.
Yes, you're spot on.
Right,
You're spot on.
sorry
As we
for
see
that
now, that top
very
3 is can go anywhere this race.
This is
It's,
really, it's turning out really exciting. It also seems as if the light within or the ambient light is definitely becoming a little better. Do you think it could be drying out there, Zunaid?
I definitely think so. I think it will, and I think it will come down to that, like Willem said, getting into that pits the quickest as soon as it does. I see there's a change in with Dean the Fat Man and Klebdella as well for 9th and 10th. So there's some changes, some movements around the
Caesar
track.
and Dean, Caesar running in the point racing, and also known through the racing world as Pink Happiness.
Yes.
And the Red Bull of Dean there. So getting back to the discussion a little bit earlier, Willem, put it like this, you can definitely see the more experienced F1 drivers coming through in the wet weather, and I just think that the wet race has caught out the two Haas drivers today.
I must agree with you, Ivan. You know, one thing that is also key when you get into racing, and especially league racing, is time trial. You know, everyone concentrates on the dry time trials, trying to be the fastest, you know, between, you know, the global leaderboard and the French leaderboard. But the one aspect that everyone forgets about, or let me not say everyone, but the most of us forget about, and me included, is the wet time trials. You need to do those to get practice. And it just shows you today. I mean, if you look at the top guys today, you can see they've done some practicing. They've got some experience in the wet racing scenarios.
Yes, you can definitely see that that aspect coming into play. Gary right on the back of Callum once again.
He's
Looking
on the
on,
gearbox
coming down
side.
the inside. Coming down the inside. Oh, they nearly touch. Gary Braden taking it. He's definitely taking the first place, but he runs wide. Callum comes at him again. They're side by
He's
side
got
as
the
they come
exit.
through corner 15. He's got the run as they side by side again. Low. They just touch a little bit. Callum running wide. Gary Braden taking first place.
We've got
And
Callum
is
in.
not going to give that place up easy. Coming down into corner 1, going on the outside of corner 1 into corner 2. Gary Brandon's really kept that Ferrari wide. Cutting him nicely. Got the inside of corner 3. Very nice overtake there by Gary Braden. Now Callum needs to watch out for the sister Ferrari behind him. Sorry to interrupt you there, Willem.
No problem. Ivan, this is amazing drive from Gary Braden. Pushing out the elbows, making that Ferrari as wide as
Going
he can.
wide,
getting
sorry,
the better
going
exit.
wide in corner 6 as they come around. Callum is still behind the Ferrari. This is going to be an interesting battle all the way through.
This is all about composure, Ivan. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm on board with Callum, and you can see the dirty air playing a big role on this weather scenario, and especially this track we have got sweeping corners. This is all about composure for these top guys. Eh?
Yes, it is. I just want to see if I can quickly invite one of the drivers that seem to have been...
We've got a battle here between 8th and 7th. Ivan, we've got the Williams from Mike and the Red Bull of Bloodsucker. I'm not sure what his real name is, but it seems that these guys are in for it, just leaving enough space for one another. Bloodsucker getting the better exit there, running a bit wide.
You send the invite, Ivan?
Kieran.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it looks like he is back in the race. It won't let me invite anybody back.
Okay.
Who is this, Ivan?
It would be Bloodsucker, as
Bloodsucker.
you would know him
Sarah.
on the screen. As that's side by side between Willem, Mike Awesome, and the Red Bull on the straight. There we go. Bloodsucker has joined back into the session.
Unfortunately for him, he lost the position, but let's see if he can get it back.
Yes, he would have just joined in.
On
And boys, from the back of the grid,
Yes.
from the back of the grid, Winter is making huge progress. From lap 8, being 18 seconds behind Shantar, he's caught up by just under 5 seconds.
He is on a mission.
He is flying. He is flying.
tonight. So I don't really have much tyre information on how many laps you can do on the Inters, but let's take a look at who's done stops. Where we have Dean in the Red Bull doing a stop. We have Winter having to stop early in the race for wing damage. We have the two Haas drivers that have done a stop, the McLaren and the sister Toro Rosso down in 18, who have also done a stop. Let's just take a look here. So if you look at it, we have 13 laps running between most people on the grid. I see Gary Braden has definitely started pulling out a lead there. It is now 2.5 seconds.
That's a tyre issue. That's definitely a tyre issue for Callum. I think he compromised his tyres trying to stay in front of Gary.
And as we've
just to
been
get back on the
talking,
tyres.
Gentlemen.
Yes.
Sorry, just to interrupt quickly. As we've been talking, I just spotted Stephen in the sister McLaren jumping up into 4th place.
5th, you mean, eh? 5th place.
No, he's taken 4th from Kyle in the McLaren. So it's at the moment
yes, sorry, the
on lap
Mercedes.
15. We have Ferrari, Mercedes, Ferrari, Mercedes.
Yeah, this is actually quite expected, hey? Ferrari and Mercedes to lead
Yes.
this race.
Kieran in the Red Bull having the fastest lap at the moment, and as I'm spectating here, we got the 2 Red Bulls side by side in corner 1, and Mike being in front of them. There's a bit of a touch between the 2 Red Bull drivers.
They're following
That puts
Haas's,
Dean back.
they're following the Haas example for the
And
season.
Dean is taking a look at Mike down to corner 6.
There's a touch.
On the outside, running a little wide. Ooh, grabbing some curb. This is a tight battle between the for the bottom points here. And we see Dean coming through and taking 7th there. And Kieran right behind the Williams, and the Williams goes wide onto the grass. That'll compromise him, giving Kieran a better run down to the short burst into corner 11. And the 2 Red Bulls now respectively in. And we've got Kieran running very wide, outbraking himself. And that will give 8th place back to Mike.
Is this not where... Sorry to bring this up, Ivan, but it was so unfortunate for you the other day in the other race. Isn't this where you spun off? I see another Red Bull missing the racing line there, underbraking himself.
Yes.
But that corner
Yes.
is so difficult. Because if you miss
That
your
is a-
braking like you did now, you compromise the whole way through that straight.
It is a very tricky corner, and I can just imagine how it would be in the wet. You're having to keep a tight line into corner 7 or corner 7 there into corner, so that you can take that tight corner into turn 9 and 10. Yeah.
But just to point out,
Ivan,
I think,
Willem.
my experience, there's going to be pit stops from lap 20. Sorry, Zunaid.
No problem there. So question coming in from the guys, the viewers. Hazel Cookies is asking, is Jimmy okay? He's been lapped already.
Jimmy in the Haas. Let's just take a look down here, the grid.
Yes, he's been lapped.
He has been lapped, yes.
Looks like Shanta just overtook Willem again there. The race at the battle at the back. Shanta just took his position back from Willem.
And
Shanta's
the
disconnected,
back marker
eh?
staying. Oh, Shanta's disconnected.
He just took his position from Willem. Just make sure. We'll just invite him again, Ivan.
Unfortunately, I can't invite anybody. It won't allow me to invite anybody into the game.
This is unfortunate for Willem, but it's a very good opportunity as well to gain back the position on the unfortunate circumstance for Shanta to being disconnected. But we've seen this a lot in last season as well, haven't we, Ivan? Guys disconnecting because not bad connections, but I think it's a thing in the game where guys just disconnect.
Hopefully the Codemasters can sort it out. It's been a really good run over the last couple of weeks with the game. Let's just hope that it doesn't turn out to be like 2018 and start giving major glitches. Or as
No,
the
it's
has there
unfortunate.
of Jimmy sliding under braking. And we go up here. Gary Braden now lapping the Toro Rosso. Gary Braden now almost 5 seconds ahead of Callum. As we look down here, the Ferrari, sister Ferrari, under a second.
Garen's going to lap another
Red
horse
Bull
here
doing
from
it.
Glampen.
And that is the Haas of Gareth. Gary is flying around this track.
He's a top-notch driver. When it comes to league racing, it's as if Gary just gets into the zone. You know, you don't see this from Gary in practice lobbies or anything, but the moment he gets into a race, it's as if he zones into it. Top-notch.
Very, very, very good driving there by Gary Braden.
Looks like the field is spreading, but we've got something here for 14th position. I think Chantal, I don't know if he's connected back in, but Winter has taken the position.
Oh, and we've got the first of the top drivers coming into the pits. That would be Stephen.
Yeah, I suspected a bit closer to
and
the
that
20
is
lap.
a 2.5 second pit stop. Not bad by the Mercedes mechanics there.
Arvin, just to touch quickly on this lobby setup, which assist has been restricted, which hasn't been allowed. What is the setup for this lobby for these drivers today?
Well, the setup for the lobby and for the league is it is a full qualifying session. So it's qualifying 1, qualifying 2, qualifying 3, and then it's a realistic performance and 100% race. The regulations, as far as I understand, would be strict, but I could stand under correction for that.
And allowables on the assist, or is it preference from the guys, or is there...
Well, it is personal preference. I do know that it is corners only, and I think it is medium traction for most of the guys.
Oh, awesome.
So there are a couple of assists running at the moment. Unfortunately, I don't know much of how the guys are running with their assists. And we look at this Ferrari really on the back of Kieran here, or Callum. I think Callum really hurt his tyres battling with Gary Braden there.
Definitely. I think he's compromising his race, not pitching those tyres at this moment. You can see him struggling for grip even on the downshift there. The back just wants to go out.
And to be fair, these gentlemen would have been running their dry setups in the quali, so this has definitely caught a lot of people out.
Well, I must also point out on that point, Ivan, a little bit of a disagreement from my side in that if you're in the lobby, you can check what the weather will be in the race the moment you put on a setup. So I think the guys would have touched on a front wing or a rear wing up or down a little bit, just to give them a little bit of the edge coming from a dry quali to a wet race. I think that might have been the case, but also I might stand corrected on that.
Only one way to find out once the race ends. This is a blistering race that Gary Braden is having at the moment. I mean, he's already lapped up to 15.
He just lost half a second.
Yes, but he is overtaking back markers.
Oh, okay, so it's compromised by traffic at the moment.
Yes. And we have a nice onboard shot looking back on the McLaren or the Mercedes-Benz of Callum. And that Ferrari is really just breathing down his neck. And Callum comes into the pits. Callum is in the pits. Let's quickly get to my...
I think he's going to be overtaken by fourth though. Caduce in the McLaren, because the pit stop is not that short. And we've got a battle here for ninth also, between Cipadilla and Mike Awesome.
Oh, that's quite a slow pit stop. Just under 3 seconds for that pit stop of Callum. So that will put him down into 4th place. And But bearing in mind that both the Ferraris in front need to pit and the McLaren as well.
So Padilla just overtook Mike Awesome in the racing point, and Mike being in the...
Oh, and Caesar coming very wide. And oh yes, alright, so that is definitely an overtake done there by Caesar. So will Gary Braden then come in? We will spectate on Gary Braden and see. Any information from your side, Zunaid?
Willem, Ivan, it's a bit quiet on the side. Obviously the guys just giving feedback, so it's our regular guys from the league. Hazel Cook is still just saying regular rules, guys, not street. I think they're all keen on watching the race. It's having big action in the race. That first, second, and third could go anyway.
Getting some beautiful shots from the back of the car. Sorry, Zunaid. You're getting some beautiful shots of the back of the cars through this race. As we see Gary Braden coming up to the last corner, taking another lap on those inters.
We've got 18th here, battling for 17th.
Alright, we will move down the list here.
It's going to overtake him. He's got him. Bad exit for that Haas.
And the Haas drivers really are struggling. I mean, we've got both Haas drivers running in 18th and 19th respectively.
That's supposed to, and this is what makes it so interesting. We've got the Williams running in the midfield. So unexpected.
Yes, and there's hardly anything between the Haas and the McLaren on the grid, really.
Yeah, performance-wise, I mean, they should be the best of the rest, if you can put it in that sense.
Yes, but if you have to look at the season, McLaren is definitely pulling out some stops there this season. They are definitely the best of the rest within the actual F1 season. So, gentlemen, as we're taking a look here, we will take a look at gaps here quickly. There is a nice gap battle here for 13th, 12th and 13th at the moment. So, getting to some F1 news, gentlemen.
Yes.
Let's talk about a little bit about Valtteri Bottas doing some testing in a World Rally Championship car, the Ford Focus, and matching one of the top rally drivers in pace. So, do you think that he might be switching over to rally if he has to leave Mercedes-Benz at the end of the season?
I'm interested to hear Zunaid's comment before I give mine.
Well, as they've been having off-season films, so have I. I've been concentrating more on myself. So, but I do think it makes interesting news. I don't think he'll make the switch to rally. Formula 1 is in your blood. Not all of us are crazy like Kimi, but Formula 1 is in your blood, and I think he'll stay.
Yes,
well, if I can give my opinion there, Ivan, just a quick one on that. You must understand, Bottas is in a very difficult spot. He's between a rock and a hard place at this moment with Mercedes. They're looking at him in performance-wise. They told him last season, listen, you need to ramp this up this season. He's made a few mistakes. He got an awesome start to the season. But coming from the last race, it's not looking too bright for him at Mercedes at the moment. With Ocon there, might go into McLaren, with the talks between them. I think from a Formula 1 driver point of view for Bottas, I think he's keeping the doors open now.
Willem.
Yeah, well, yes.
Hazel Cookies is commenting back with us, and he's also saying that Baba Bottas, in his mind, he thinks Bottas is leaving as well.
Yeah, I think he's keeping the doors open at this moment.
Yeah, well, he'll definitely keep his doors open. I mean, I did read an article last week about him having 2 or 3 options open if he does not get a contract renewal by Mercedes-Benz.
Which will be a huge mistake, Ivan. If Mercedes does not keep Bottas, it will be a huge mistake. Remember now, Bottas was signed as the second driver. He's done an exceptional job last season as a second driver. He's blocked off the Ferraris how many times for Hamilton to clinch the win. If you look at last season, I'd say it would be a huge mistake to letting Bottas go. With this start that he had to this season, they should give him another year, in my opinion. We got the Haas missing his breaking point again. The Haas Oaks are just struggling today.
Willem, has the
We've got a
Ferraris
battle
gone
for
into pit
12th. To tell you quickly on that, no, Gary and Beer Boost has not pitted yet, and they are on lap 22 on those intermediates. But Gary's got a nice lead now. He's got a free pit stop now with his teammate.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing as well. He's created a good lead for himself to align to come back out in first.
And keeping in mind the traffic that's coming from behind him for Beer Boost. So I don't know what Gary is planning out. Maybe he's listening to the engineer on the weather that we don't have the information on. But
Correct, yes.
essentially, he's got a free pit stop now.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, especially with the back markers playing a big, huge factor in this race as well now for the leaders.
Yeah, to a point, because I mean, this is a professional league, the talk of the devil. These guys understand the rules, they understand, when to give space, and especially in blue flag situations, these guys got a lot of respect on track. I don't think it will compromise Gary that much, especially the front runners coming behind him, second, third, and fourth, fifth as well. But like I say, in this weather, dirty air, and coming from a dry setup in quali, you will be a little bit compromised, going through the traffic here.
Correct, Willem. Like we had a private conversation as well. Like you say, respect from the back markers and respect from everyone on the track. It is competitive, but in the end, respect your fellow racers.
Yeah, to a point where you can be competitive, right? And we're seeing that today through these guys. I mean, there's been wheel touching, there's been a bad start for some of the guys coming from lap 1. You can see the guys just getting back into it, and there's no harsh feelings on the track. You can just see that from the drive.
Correct, yes. So it looks like he's just going to do one stopper then, Gary. In, out, and go for the win.
I'm not sure. I won't call it yet a one stopper in these conditions. Gary is really pulling out big lap times here. I think he might be on a second stop if I look at it correctly from my point of view. But let's see how it turns out. We've got a battle for third at the moment with coming down Callum.
Yes.
You see, the tricky thing here is in these situations, you're not geared for this. You're not geared for this at all. If you look at your qualifying sessions, it hits you like a train, and then you need to, get your game together. And we've got Deuce almost losing the car there. I don't know if you saw that, but he lost 2 seconds on that slide.
Oh wow. Yes, I've been following. Willem, on your experience, that change that you make from dry qualies to a wet race, how do you find that change? You need to change your whole mindset, you need to change your game plan. Do you find that integration quick?
Well, it's not easy, let me tell you that tonight. Like you well know, I've told you, I'm driving without any assists. And if you go from a dry to a complete wet race, let's take it like this, it's an intermediate race, you're not that much compromised like you would have been from dry to full wets, but you must understand that you will not pull the lap times that you have, you will not have the grip that you had in the dry. So you will essentially go back to your setup and you will make minor tweaks, especially your front and your rear wing. You will put it maybe one up on each, and you will definitely look at your differential. But one thing that you have to do is you have to understand that your on throttle and your off throttle, your braking points, your braking zones, remember you brake a lot earlier in wet conditions than you would have done in dry. So it's a complete different race that you will have. It's really difficult.
Correct, yes. No, agree with you fully there. Unfortunately, I haven't had the experience of racing in wets, and like you said, start preparing and getting yourself ready for these conditions.
Sorry,
Gary's lead is growing. Sure.
We just had Mark Awesome leaving the session. I don't know if he's been disconnected or just been thrown out of the lobby. I hope he gets joined back in. But that's essentially his race over.
Soon.
We've got a yellow flag, sector 2.
Wow, there should have been an incident there then.
I'm trying to find.
Can't see it
so far. I'm still in sector 1. going through the guys in sector. Look, it was just a little bit of a spin, nothing major, no cars retiring at the moment.
I see Bean the Fed Bean has lost his position.
I don't know if it's him. I couldn't find it,
Yeah,
but I
he's
think it
lost
was
the
just a little bit
position
of a
or two.
spin.
He's in ninth position. I think he lost a position or two there. Well, it will be
This
interesting
is
to
a
see
stage. Yeah,
yes,
sorry.
yes, you go.
No, I
I said it will
interrupted
be
you.
interesting to see the leaders, in the log standings, how the guys are doing, see who's leading this league.
I must be honest with you. I'm not 100% sure, but I suspect it will be definitely between Gary, Callum, and Snakehips leading this league so
The log
far.
standings, yes.
Yeah, but going down the grid, maybe our fellow viewer that's on the chats. I couldn't recall his name, but maybe he can help us out and
Hazel
tell us
Cookies
what
can
the
give
league
us some
standings. Hazel
correct. Yeah,
Cookies maybe can give us an update there. Yeah.
correct. Then I see there's Zola also making some leeway in the standings. See, Zola's up to 12th position.
But he's got a big gap to
Right.
find now between
No, definitely.
the Sauber in front, eh?
Yes, well, we're taking a look here. That's lap 25
Welcome back, Ivan.
on the... Yes, thank you. That is lap 25 of for Gary Braddon on those intermediates.
That's a long stint. That's a long stint.
Is a long stint. I'm just taking a look here to see if we can find out information on who's leading the championship at the moment with the Talk of the Devil League. This is
While you're doing that, I just want to point out, Ivan, that I suspect, like Junaid rightfully pointed out, Gary might be going for one stop a year. What's your view on this?
well, let's see. We are on lap 27 of 56, so we are getting towards the halfway point.
I think it's a
If
big
the race
possibility.
stays wet, then he's going for a one-stopper. I would put it on that.
My money's on that as well.
But
there's a lot of
we,
blue coming
unfortunately,
through the
as
clouds, eh?
the commentators, we can't really tell what's happening with the weather. I do know that there is some blue sky popping out every now and again on the track.
I also see that coming out, but it just doesn't want to break through. If I must be honest, I hope it stays
If it
wet.
does, it'll definitely change things up once again. I see Gary will be with you once again, gentlemen.
Gary's really leading that tie as well, hey? He's making the most
Yeah.
of that race.
That's also where it comes in, eh? Because tire management is another thing that you need to master, especially going into 100% races. 50%, 25% races, it's not a big issue. As such, going into 100% race, tire management is key. And doing this pace, I must hand it to Gary. What a drive.
No, definitely a great drive.
And also to point out, just to the leader again, and not to blow his whistle too much, but I've been driving in other leagues with Gary, and I've been in races with Gary. Gary is
Yes.
an extremely aggressive driver, very respectful, but very aggressive. He knows how to make that Ferrari or which car ever he drives extremely wide. So, just to point that out again for Mr. Braden there.
For sure. I've obviously had the chance to race with him and yourself as well in our league, the ORLSA. And yeah, he is very competitive. I see Willem comments coming back from Hazel Cookies as he thinks Gary is in the lead of the overall standings as it is.
My fourth as well, yeah. Thank you,
I
Hazel
am
Cookies, for that.
taking a look now. Let's see if we can get that info with you guys. TOD standings at the moment. Alright, so if we take a look here, in the team championship points at the moment, we have Mercedes-Benz with 60 points, Ferrari with 55, Racing Point with 27, We have McLaren with 17 and Red Bull of the top 5 with 16 points. The driver standings at the moment, we've got Stephen Harrison running in first place or top of the table with 44 points. Gary Braden running in second with 43. No, that's Stephen Harrison. That would be Snake Hips.
Okay, right.
And then we have Gary Braden running in second with 43 points, so 1 point behind Stephen. Kyle in the McLaren running in sitting in third with 16 points and tied with Callum Harrod at the moment, the current reigning
Gary pitting now.
champion for
Gary goes
TOTD.
into the pits.
And Gary's in the pits. All right.
So I think his teammates will go for another
time
lap.
this one for him.
And he's going to follow the next lap. I'm sure of that.
And
no,
that is
he's going straight into the pits. Teammate
they're double stacking.
I think Gary might just go out. Yeah, Gary's out, so it's will not be a double stack here.
So that was a 2.9 second stop for Gary Braden, and that is a 2.5 second stop for his teammate.
This is a point in the race, Ivan, where you would almost like to call the race, but it's just too early.
Oh yes, it really is too early, boys. Yes.
Trying to have a look down the field, I see the horse is challenging the Renault of Chantal.
Right, so let's just
Chantal
take a look here as we hit lap 29. We have Gary Braden. Gary Braden sitting in first place after his pit stop. We have Callum running in second. 9 laps on those intermediates so far. And then the sister Mercedes of Stephen, who is currently leading the World Championship in third place. And then the sister Ferrari running in fourth. The two Ferraris definitely going a lot further on those intermediates than the Mercedes-Benz.
It's all down to setup on him. It's all down to setup. The longest stint we have so far is 27 laps on the intermediates from number 10, Mike Awesome, in the Williams. And I see
27 laps. That 28. He's just started lap 28.
And I see number 16, Ivan, from the Toro Rosso, Ace HM Legend, is extremely struggling with these cars at the moment. And he's on 22 laps. This is clearly a setup thing between these cars.
Well, if you look, and we have Willem coming into the pits. We have Willem coming into the pits.
That's a sign that he's challenging the top 10 at this moment. For Gary going in on the same stint that he has, he's challenging for the top 10 today, guys.
Right.
Looking at his times and his improvements. Sorry, the Ivan. See, Winter is really catching on.
So,
likewise,
2.9 seconds for that stop for Winter for Willem.
The Williams team is not on fire.
No, they they've definitely done very well trying to keep the realism to a fact of the different pit stops. Red Bull, even in the game, having one of the best pit stops within the game itself. I mean, Red Bull holding the world record at the moment with 1.8 seconds for a pit stop.
Yes, but what a race that was for Max Verstappen, eh?
No, that was brilliant, and I mean this is quite interesting. I mean, if you have to look at the real F1, they only had their first wet race in Germany this year, which caught a lot of the new guys out. Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, even George Russell running with the Williams struggled quite a bit. Oh yes. Mercedes-Benz being the sponsor of that race, and then just having a dismal weekend.
Horrible.
The reigning world the reigning world champion, going off twice in that race, and Valtteri Bottas spinning out in corner 1 and hitting the barrier, which put him out of the race.
I'm going to get a lot of disagreement with what I'm going to say now, but Mercedes needed that dismal weekend because you need to lose to learn. That's my point of it. You need to lose to learn. They are ahead. They are the best team currently on the grid, but you need to lose to get data, not to make the same mistakes again.
Oh yes, unfortunately you got to fall to climb up, and that's the way it is. As we watch the McLaren of Kyle lapping the Williams. So that gap from first to second is 12.1 seconds at the moment.
That is 2 seconds in 2
Mike
laps.
just fell down. Zola took Mike.
Oh, all right. So that's Caesar taking 8th place from Kieran.
Mike is disconnected, guys.
Unfortunately, I am getting a lot of people asking me to invite them and back into the race. However, I cannot invite anybody. It doesn't give me that option.
Unfortunate for the guys.
It
is unfortunate for the
Mike.
guys.
Mike was in the points.
But
Yes.
while you were away, Ivan, a few moments ago, Mike actually left the session. So I'm not sure if he's been kicked out completely out of the race.
Well, that's just the thing. I mean, if he's completely left the session, that's more than
There's
just
no
a
way.
disconnection. Because if you disconnect, it doesn't show up anything on the display.
That's it.
Yeah, well,
So
he's just
we're
falling down the
looking,
grid, so he's
okay,
definitely not driving
We've
the car.
got Callum back in the pits. He's pitted now for a fresh set of intermediates. This is lap 32, so he will definitely go through to the end of the race with these tyres.
But he's got a big challenge in front of him with those 3 top runners. First Gary, second Snake Gibbs and Beer Boost. He's got a big challenge up his hands.
He does. Looking at the Ferraris, they ran, 27 laps on those tyres?
Yeah. And
So
we've got the
it's
Haas
looking-
also now on 28 laps on distance. Going into the pits now. The Haas. Doing 28
Gareth
laps.
coming into the pits. Oh, and that's just over 3 seconds for that stop for the Haas of Gareth.
Worse than the Williams. How do you explain that?
I really think the whole team has been caught out with the weather today. And we look here, there is under a second gap between third and second. That Ferrari once again on the back end of Callum.
The Ferrari definitely got the benefit of the straights on this weekend.
So, biggest news out on the F1 calendar. Red Bull making the switch for Gasly to go back down to Toro Rosso, and Alex Albon
Thank
moving
you.
up into the top team.
Thank
That is a
you.
very
Thank you.
big change.
Thank
He
you. I
needs
said
Ivan.
that from the beginning.
And guys, you've been following the news. Willem yourself. I read an article today that they actually offered Alonso the position first.
Alonso will not come
Um,
back. Eh? He wants a winning
I
car.
don't-
If they can't give him a winning car like Mercedes, he will not come back.
I don't think Alonso will be coming back. He's got quite a lot invested in his Formula 4 team, I think it is, or Formula Renault.
Oh, it's got a lot on his plate
Team
at
at
this
the moment.
moment. And just
Yeah.
It's exactly-
before he
And,
took on,
he's also doing a lot of testing with the IndyCar. I think he might also do a season in IndyCar next year.
that's it for McLaren as well, eh? If not mistaken.
Yeah. Yes, so
No,
that
coming back to
relationship
the
with the
Red Bull
Alonso
change.
McLaren. Yes.
Pierre Gasly doesn't deserve that Red Bull seat. I'm very sorry, because I said that from the beginning of the season. When the news came out that he's going into the Red Bull for 2019, I said it's a mistake. The guy's he's not mature enough to compete with Max. He will not put on a challenge to Max. But
Well, I do tend to
Red
agree with you
Bull-
there, Willem.
yes,
I do tend to agree with you. However, if you have to look at how things were ran last season, put it like this: Gasly was definitely ahead of his teammate
oh sure.
last season in the Toro Rosso.
And that's in the junior team. So you have to look at that. And Red Bull believes in the junior team development. So I'm not saying they made a mistake. They're following their own rule set. But
Exactly.
I would have given it another season. This whole mistake for Red Bull came from losing Ricardo. They didn't let Ricardo go. They lost him because Christian Horner gave too much attention to the golden boy, which is Max Verstappen. He missed that Renault was going for Ricardo. And Ricardo at that point was fed up. So it was a chain reaction for Red Bull. Red Bull did this solely to make up for their own miss.
Yes, I tend to agree with you. But if you have to look at through Max Verstappen and Gasly's career, racing careers, Max Verstappen and Gasly have been teammates 3 times before in other divisions, and they've actually done very well as teammates in previous divisions.
It's just not on the level that Max has been able to mature to. Looking at Max, the development of the Red Bull team, the junior team, it's as if Gasly is just not on the same wavelength as what Red Bull wants him to be.
Yes, I do agree with you. He has been getting quite a lot of pressure. And we watched the Ferrari going very wide there behind the Mercedes, allowing the Mercedes to build a bit of a gap there.
Winter is challenging for 12th on the Toro Rosso.
We will go down to that battle now.
And we've got 70s challenging for 16th here as well. So we've got 2 battles here on track at the moment, being 2nd place and also the last 2.
Well, let's take a look here.
Battle for 16th, a battle for 12th, and a battle for 2nd.
We will go up to the battle for 12th as we spectate here with Willem Brits. As you can see, he gets a nice toe down the straight there behind the Toro Rosso, pulls out. He's on the outside.
And
It's
he's
side by
taken
side
him.
coming into the hairpin.
Tight.
Oh, very tight. The Toro Rosso pushing Willem Brits off of the track there and keeping that position as they come into the final corner. They're side by side. Oh, and Willem goes wide.
There's been a touch. It's just not going Willem Brits' way this evening.
It really isn't. And
Bad
that
start,
battle has petered
compromised the whole race, and he's such a good driver. So
We haven't
unfortunate for him.
really spoken much about the second McLaren driver, Zola. He is up into 11th, having quite a decent race on his own there. Not really challenging for any positions. I mean, he's 44 seconds behind 10th. So if we have to look at the standings are on lap 36, we've got Gary Braddon running in first in the Ferrari. We have the Mercedes-Benz of Steven now being challenged there by the Ferrari of Beard Boost.
Oh, that's
Not
close.
taking any chance. That is very close. So we have a Ferrari in first, both of them running very wide on that last corner. So we have Ferrari first, Mercedes second, Ferrari third, Mercedes fourth, McLaren in fifth, the Alpha, that Alpha up into sixth place. That's a really not bad. Yellow flags in sector 3.
Trying to go there now. Oh, we got a car off. And that is a Williams.
Oh, and we have a Haas there into the barrier, losing a wing.
Oh, it's the Haas.
Which Haas would that have been? That is... I could be unmistaken. Yes, and that was the Haas of Gareth. No, Gareth has still got his wing. I can't seem to see which car that was. We'll have to get. No, and we've got Callum that is out. Callum that is out. That was a Mercedes-Benz. The reigning world champion is out. The first casualty of the wet race here of the Talk of the Devil season 2 round 3 Shanghai. And we've got the reigning world champion out on lap 36. And that'll give Gary a bit of a breather, but still running behind Stephen is Gary's teammate this evening.
Oh, that will hurt Callum so much. Me coming from exactly the same situations previously in other races. You're so far into the race and you're just not able to keep going. That will hurt Callum a lot.
Yes, Callum running, was running tie with Kyle in the standings with 16 points. So Kyle will now then jump a few good points ahead of him.
It's early in the season for the league. I don't think Callum will. I think he will come out heads up, keeping his head up for the next race. But this is unfortunate.
And it looks as if Callum has disconnected from the session as well.
Which you can expect. You're very furious at this point, especially being your own mistake. You're so negative with yourself. You can only expect him, to be leaving, trying to get his emotions under control.
So, with Callum being taken out or going out in this race, that has pushed Zola in the McLaren into the last of the points-paying positions.
And we've got Winter breathing slightly more every lap. He's gaining and gaining and gaining. I would love to see Willem Brits coming into the points today, especially for him being a driver he is and being in a Williams, guys.
Yes, I mean, look at the qualifying sessions, putting their car in the top 10.
And not even taking into account the start that he's got. And coming back from that.
Running straight into the back of a Red Bull. And at the moment, Kieran having the fastest lap with a 1:43.8 at the moment. But we should see that time while the time's falling down. Although 1:43, that is quite an impressive lap, considering Gary Braden only doing his best as a 1:47.
Yeah, but you must understand, Gary's in a whole different race, so he's not trying to catch, he's not putting himself in a position where he's going to compromise his own race, taking the entire life out of it. I see Chantar has just went back, so that's going to give us a nice challenge here from 17th place, which he's in. But coming back from to Gary's race and his lap times, he's managing his race at this point.
Well, gentlemen, if you have to look at it, on lap 38, Gary Braden has now lapped all the way up to 6th place.
Yeah. He's going to lap himself if he carries on with this pace.
Probably will. Zunaid, any action on our comment section?
Zunaid?
Yes, I'm here now. Sorry, I just lost it there for a second. Lost comms.
Welcome to the world of the internet. Any information on our comments?
Okay, well, the chat's been really quiet. I think everyone is a bit saddened to see Callum leave the race. Good to see a picture finish from Ferrari, well, as it seems at the moment. And Winter making that climb from the bottom. Like Willem said, the start he had. It's good to see. Like to see him challenge for that point. But still a race to go here, boys. We still have a race on here.
We still have a race, yes.
Just under 20 laps to go, guys.
Let's see intervals. Although I'm getting on my intervals that Gary's teammate is one lap down. I don't understand what's going on here. That
I'm
is
also trying to
very,
figure
very
this out
weird.
now.
As you said, Ivan, the world of the internet.
Yes, yes. So, on lap 39, we've got the two Ferraris running in first and second. The only sole Mercedes on the grid at the moment, Stephen running in third. Fourth in the McLaren is Kyle. Fifth is the Alpha of Wadu. What? I'm not sure how you pronounce that gamer tag.
Wadabu. Wadubu.
Yes. I
Sorry,
think that is
sorry
one of
if we get that wrong.
that is one of the reserve drivers.
Well, what a performance for a reserve driver, I must say that.
Let's just take a look here.
Hazel Cookie's commenting, give some credit to the Alphas that's both in the points position. Saying
Yes,
he's loving
Right,
it.
we were just
Loving
talking.
it.
Right,
We were,
cookies.
we were just talking about the Alpha drivers. So let's just take a look here. It's sorry, gentlemen. I'm just taking a look here. So it looks to be Anthony. Yeah, Anthony. Anthony is the Alpha driver, sitting in fifth place at the moment.
Oh,
He
Anthony,
is one of the reserve drivers. He is one of the reserve drivers for the Talk of the Devil League.
What a
Great
race from
performance
him
for a
then.
reserve
What a
driver.
race from him then.
Yes,
Yes, he's definitely proving his worth.
Shows some tough competition in that league.
Oh yes. Unfortunately, I wasn't there to see any of the practice sessions during the course of the week, but this is a brilliant turnout for him. Yes.
Ivan, can I just quickly ask a question here? If this is unrealistic performance, how does the grid and the drivers' cars, how does that get determined?
Well, they did carry on from last season's standings. So it would have been Callum and Stephen. They were teammates from last season. Gary Braden and his teammate. Let's just take a look here for you. Panagliotis. They were teammates in the last season. Panagliotis were not making it this evening. That's why we have Beard Boost as a reserve driver as well. So you've got to give it to these reserve drivers. They're really performing tonight.
And just to thank you for your answer, Ivan. But the second part to my question is, how do they determine which car you drive? Because Gary's extremely fast, but he's in a Ferrari. So just opens the question for me. How do they determine which car you drive?
Well, Willem, how the Talk of the Devil League works is they do work on transfer windows as well. So, if you're a new driver, you then get pushed into one of the lower tier cars. I do understand that Gary Braden actually started in the with the Red Bull team, and then moved over to Ferrari towards the end of the season. Willem, also being one of the new drivers, I think he still needs to prove himself a little bit more within the Talk of the Devil League. That's why he's in the Williams. But hopefully we will see Willem improve and go to a better team with the first transfer window happening, I think, in a race or two's time.
How many transfer windows do you have in this league?
I think there's 3 transfer windows.
Alright.
Yes.
Ivan,
Yes.
with your experience in the various leagues, what will it take for someone like yourself, like Willem, like even myself? What will it take for us to be, for the criteria for us to become reserve drivers and then obviously make it onto the top cut?
Oh, and it seems as I've been disconnected, gentlemen. It seems that I've been disconnected from the lobby. So, Willem, if you could just carry on commentating with the views that you've got at the moment.
I will do so. Ivan, I see another guy's also left here. I'm not sure if this might be a server issue, but let's carry on. Zunaid, you had a question there. What it will take, if I can answer while Ivan is trying to get back into the lobby, if you look at drivers like Gary, Snakehips, Willem Brits, even Mike Awesome. Mike Awesome is not a bad driver. I've got him as a friend on Xbox. I also do some racing with him as well. If you take those drivers for example, and they've got racing experience, they've got some hours on the game.
Yeah.
And if you go into the game and you go drive a Grand Prix with AI, it's two different worlds
Yes.
because you've got a human factor. So
Yes.
the first thing that you have to master is you have to think for everyone else on the track. You have to know what rights you have. Following, leading, gaining, losing, what you need to do in a race. And that you learn from racing with other guys, whether it's league racing, whether it's practice lobbies, whether whatever that might be.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
going to give you an edge. That's going to give you an edge to start being, and not necessarily from the get-go be competitive in these type of leagues, especially Talk of the Devil. They've got a reputation for being an exceptionally fast league.
Yes.
But it's going to start giving you that, that edge. What it will take a lot of practice, firstly, in all scenarios. You have to be a
Yeah.
back runner and see what to do from being a back runner.
Yeah.
You have to be in the midfield. You have to be a leader.
Yeah.
And that's gonna give you the experience to be competitive in a league like this. If that
It will,
answers your
definitely.
question.
No, 100% spot on. Thank you, Willem. I've got another comment from Hazel Cookies. He was obviously rooting
Yes.
from the word go. From the word go, he's been rooting for Wade. It's the name we can't pronounce. Apologies for that.
Anthony,
What it will be?
if I'm not mistaken.
Anthony.
yeah.
He's been rooting Anthony all the way, and he's saying big up to him in that Alpha. Great race from him.
Rightfully so. Hazel Cookies. As everyone watching this might know that Alpha is, I think, the second slowest car on the grid. Firstly, secondly, you coming from a reserve driver point into a league that you have to, like Ivan said, you have to prove yourself. I think he's doing everything right today. I don't think he's putting a foot wrong today. Anthony being in first place.
Yeah, almost certainly.
You can't win them all tonight,
Oh,
but you can have an exceptional drive.
Technical
And he's
issues,
been doing that.
going on at the moment.
Yeah.
No problem,
So-
Ivan, we're with you.
Alright. Unfortunately, as I'm looking at the chats here, Callum was the host. However, he's been kicked out of the lobby, so we actually don't know who the king or host of the lobby is at the moment. So hopefully, if any of the drivers are listening to my stream at the moment, if they could, I don't know, somehow quickly take a look and see if they are the host of the lobby. I mean,
That will help you to just get connected or invited again.
yes, exactly. Unfortunately, usually I would be the second person within the lobby, but me having to work late, I wasn't in it quick enough. This is very disappointing for our viewers. We do apologize for the technical
the
issues,
internet.
ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for the internet.
The wonderful internet.
Yes, the wonderful internet.
The world of technology taking over our pride and joy tonight. What a privilege it
And-
is. If I could put some sarcasm to the view. Guys,
Yeah,
just to
it's-
ask a question for Ivan here. Ivan, you've got some history on some of these drivers. Can you just run us through
Yes.
on where some of these back markers and some of these front runners come from within the game of Formula One, within the world of Formula One, being a driver in the game? Do they have a lot of experience?
Well-
Do you know them personally? What's there to know?
I don't actually know them personally. I've watched a couple of the races from their last season. I do know that we have a couple of Americans. We have a few Europeans. I will actually get some of that information for you guys quickly.
That's very
as
interesting.
I'm not getting any invites. Just
You
to
would
give
have thought
some
that it
background.
would be very local based type of thing, eh? And Janae, just to get back to your question earlier,
Yes,
um,
Willem.
this is also a factor to take in mind, eh? You've got drivers from all over the world in a league like this, and it's a
I'm
total
struggling to.
different ball
Yes, Willem.
game.
Yes, it is completely a different ball game. I'm just trying to see where these facts are about the
And also
league.
equipment, Ivan. I mean, some of these
Yes,
guys are on
equipment is a
controller,
big
if I'm not
factor.
mistaken.
Yes,
Oh, guys, I just
there
saw
are a
Winter
few.
left. Why did Winter leave?
You
He's
see, I
not
don't know
out
what's
having
going
a
on with
great
this
race.
lobby. Okay, I've just got an invite to a lobby. Good evening, gentlemen. All right. All right. Well, I'm in the party with you guys. Can you send another invite there to the game? Because I see there's a few people that have been disconnected. Yes. Is it highlighted? There we go. Alright, so I'm back in joining session. Alright. Okay, spectate. Alright, I'm getting back into the lobby now. Fantastic, thank you, gentlemen. I'm going to go back to my commentary team.
Go for your break.
Oh no, here it is. Or let's say Ivan to timer put us back into. Yes, there we go. We're back live.
There we go. So, yes,
Excellent.
I'm back live.
Hello, viewers.
I'm just trying
of
to
interwebs.
see what's going on. I've got an invite via one of the guys. At the moment, I'm just getting a
Fantastic.
black screen.
Well, we're getting somewhere. Eh?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
hopefully. Still got a black screen.
Ivan, while you're busy with that, just I think worth mentioning at the moment, the field is widely spread. There's no real battles going on at the moment. I think everyone just wants to manage their positions to finish the racing.
It definitely looks that way. I wish I could tell you information. I've got nothing on my screen at the moment. I'm sure the guys on the stream will also see I've got nothing happening. So I think
Is the
it's just the
stream
guys
also dead
managing
now?
them. Well, the stream at the moment is seeing what I'm seeing, and that's just a black screen.
Black.
So apologies for the viewers there.
Yes, technical issues. The gremlins have definitely jumped back in. I don't know what else to do.
Well, this is where our commentating will give them some sort of idea what's going on at the moment, which is
Yes.
not much viewers because we've got a widely spread view between the cars. Like I said just a moment ago, I think everyone is just managing to finish the race in their respective positions. Gary leading the race by light years. What an exceptional drive from him. His teammate is going to come second. This is points today for Ferrari, and we must hand it to them. Hey? This was the team today, as it looks.
Yes, it must be. Let me just invite.
Guys, the field at the moment, while Ivan, if you will allow me just to give you
Yes, go ahead.
just a quick top 10 here. We've got Grady Braden in the Ferrari. We've got Snake Hips in second place now. Just overtook Beer Boost in the Mercedes. Beer Boost following him in the Ferrari. Quadus in the McLaren. Anthony in the Sauber, which is Alfa Romeo at the moment. Dean the Fat Bean in the Red Bull in 6th. Cipadella following that Red Bull in the Racing Point. We've got Bloodsucker in the sister Red Bull. And we've got another Alfa Romeo in 9th. Cup Crunch is the gamer tag. And 10th place is Zola in the McLaren. Mike Awesome looks like he's been rejoining. I'm not 100% sure, but he's running in front of Willem Brits, joining him at 11th and 12th respectively. 13th is Newman and 14th is Ace, both in the Toro Rossos. We've got a Renault in 15th, which is Mashadangsta. And then we've got a Haas in 16th, Shantar in 17th in the Renault, and another 18th position for the Haas. Again, guys, going down the field, I just see the Haas guys not up to it today. I don't know if it's up to experience.
Guys, I'm just having to restart my game here again.
Mashadangsta
I
has
do
just
apologize,
left the
ladies
session.
and gentlemen, if you are just joining us now. The stream is having technical issues, and hopefully we can get back into the race so that we can join in with the last couple of laps. Wait. This is ridiculous. Codemasters really need to sort out their issues.
Cipadella also just left the session. So we've got Mashadangsta and Cipadella both leaving the session at the end of the race.
Horrible. This is turning into a horrible situation.
This is something Codemasters should really have a look at. Looks like we're trying to repeat last year in 2018. The game dynamics just didn't allow us to have competitive racing. It looks like it's going the same route. But we must hand it to them. They've done extremely well and good job with 2019. It's just the lobbies needs to be sorted out. Yes, Sinead?
Yes.
Agree with you there, Willem. Agree with you both. 2019 is an excellent game. On a technical side, I do think I think the various internets or internet service providers also play a big factor. So we can't just pin it down to Codemasters. I think a lot of
with
the
you.
different ISPs.
I must agree with you because I'm on a fiber line and on a 100 meg line, and I also get disconnected from lobbies. That's something. It's unseen.
Yes. So in truth, there's a lot that goes on the back end of the ISPs. They don't announce when they're doing maintenance on their lines, so that also could have a factor. It's not all down to Codemasters.
You've got a good point there, Sinead.
I respect Codemasters for 2019. By far the best game I've played in my life. So
yes, the game runs very well. We can all agree on that, but you can't now offer a service where you can race online and not have that lobbies working as the way they should.
That's something they need to look at. It's something they need to keep in mind, the different ISPs, like Sinead pointed out now. Although Sinead's point is very valid.
Alright, I'm still just trying to join the session here. I don't know what else to do. How's things looking there, Willem?
Alright, we've got number 6 here, Dean the Fat Bean in the Red Bull. Looks like he's running up on the rear end of Beer Booster's Ferrari, which dropped down to 5th place, guys. Anthony in the Sauber going up to 4th at the moment. Looks like he will be challenging at the end of this race, just being under 2 seconds behind 3rd place of the McLaren of Quadus. Guys, we're looking at an exceptionally exciting end to the race here.
Oh, most certainly. Most certainly. Must have been an incident.
I think it's due
Second
to
Ferrari
some
to drop.
disconnections and rejoinings. And we might have missed the incident here.
Oh, certainly, certainly.
I'm looking
so
at Beer Booster's car. Doesn't look like he's got any damage. Might have been a little bit of a control issue. Dean the Fat been losing 4/10 at the moment. Krusty just retired. The Haas retired, guys, from
Oh, wow.
and I'm trying to see what happened. It's in Sector 3, yellow flag. Gary Braden would be the guy to look at the moment to see what happened in Sector 3. Oh my word. Alright, so we have 2 fatalities in this race. We've got Krusty in the horse and then Callum earlier on in the race. I must say, I've been expecting the horse a bit here to be one of the first, but it's still so unfortunate for the team.
This is horrible for our viewers. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you are joining us, you are hearing the commentating of my co-commentator this evening, Willem. He is the only one available on the lobby at the moment. You are seeing what I'm seeing at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, which is just basically the main menu of the screen. We've had quite a few technical issues happening.
Oh, I'm sorry, we've got a yellow
race.
sector. We've got a yellow sector 2. We've got a yellow sector 2. I'm trying to find the incident at the moment. It has been between Masha Dumpster and a Ferrari. I'm not sure which Ferrari it is. They had a spin.
Must have been that second Ferrari. He moved down to 5th from 3rd. Or 2nd.
That's it. That's it. I must agree with you. I just missed it as I was going through the drivers here. Sorry to interrupt you there, Ivan.
No problems, no problems. Just trying to get
I think
back into
Willem,
this lobby is...
as it stands, Willem, I think you should lead this one for now while Ivan tries and get our viewers back on, see what's happening in the meantime.
I'm trying to have a look here because it's so intense now, Zunaid. I don't know if you can see what's going on here, but it's so intense because we've got a mix-up on the first 5, on the top 5 guys. It's so close. We've got Beer Boost right on the tail of a back marker, which is a Renault, which just had a spin in Sector 2. Then we've got Quadus making a big lead on Beer Boost and on that Alfa Romeo of Anthony. Stephen is trying to catch up on the back markers to go through the field. Gary is leading this race by light years. This is now going to go for the end. We've got Dean the Fat Bean losing a lot of time on Beer Boost. I want to say that Beer Boost is going to be safe in 5th place. I don't want to outspeak myself on that. But as it looks, the rest of the field is settling in those positions. We've got 4 laps left, guys. It's lap 52 or 56. Gary leading the race. From Snake keeps in a Mercedes, from Quadus in a McLaren, from Anthony in a Sauber, Alfa Romeo, from Beer Boost in a Ferrari. Top 5. This is exciting as it can get.
Well, we just have to go on your words there. We have no visuals. So Willem, we take.
I'm
your
so
word for this
sad
one.
that you guys can't see what I'm seeing.
It's definitely an interesting end to the race. Still have a few laps to go, and yeah, we're waiting on you to follow this race.
It's such a deja vu, Zunaid, what happened with us earlier in the week with our own China race. I don't know if you
Correct.
recall, but the last
Yes.
4 laps was the most intense 4 laps of the race. And
I
certainly for
agree.
me, in league racing, me
Yes,
having a
yes,
battle
that
with
was an
Ivan in
extremely
the
good
same
race.
sense. Ivan, that was amazing, I must say. And we've got the same situation now going on here again.
Well, Willem, while you're experiencing that fun and interesting and tough racing I've had, I experienced what me and the viewers are experiencing now. I just seem to be disconnected the
Which is
entire time.
nothing
the
at the
last 4
moment.
races.
It's okay. We've got one more try. Let's see if I can join the session. I've got one more invite happening here. Okay, I
Alright,
can
Ivan,
see
you
the
have
lobby.
joined.
All right, I can see the lobby, but let's see if I can spectate. Loading
Hopefully
in
you
now.
Can get in. All the
See, there's
thumbs, all
3 laps
thumbs.
left.
Yes. Gary is going on to finish lap 53 in a moment. Oh, he just started lap 53, so apologies there, apologies there.
Okay, it says please wait. Hopefully we can get some picture going. some
Gary
positive
Braden
sessions.
has been lapping up until fourth place. He's going to lap Anthony within moments. All
And all
credit
I'm
to
getting is a
Anthony.
black screen.
He's having a screamer of a race.
And all I am getting and my viewers are getting is a black screen. It's
Let's
really
see if Anthony is his worth by respecting those blue flags at the moment, and rightfully does so, as the character shows of Anthony. Well done. Gary just lapping Anthony there, on his way to lap Quadus within moments.
What a race for Gary. This will take him top of the leaderboard.
Gary has
Definitely
definitely
it will.
proven himself for that seat, eh? That's a
Callum
hot
didn't do
seat.
himself any favours for that second place. So it'll be
No, he
interesting to
didn't.
see.
Yes,
No,
unfortunately,
you did
viewers,
not.
it does not look like we will be getting any picture coming through on the stream. It's as if Codemasters really needs to work on their issues. It's been ridiculous, really.
Gary, you're right in
Willem
the UK.
at,
You're up the office, eh? You must make a turn there by him. Pay them a
I really
visit.
think I'll need to. I really
Show
think I'm
them the
going to have
recording.
to, because this is not how you should be able to advertise a game. If you're going to release it early, make sure that it works properly. I mean, honestly,
True.
really, I mean, 90% of the guys that buy these type of games do it so that you can play online and race in leagues like this.
And I mean, they
And
host
if
one
you
of
can't
the
sort this
biggest
out, it's
sporting
really,
events. Esports is being done on F1 2019.
it's honestly,
That's a huge
it's
representation.
horrible. Exactly. And I mean, you've got one or two of the drivers from last season that have actually tried out for esports from the Talk of the Devil. So
Oh wow.
I've done
Says
as
a
well.
lot.
I've done as well. Which,
it's
guys, I must be honest, that's a tough competition. But I didn't even feature.
uh,
But
Willem,
it was
will
like,
you do me a
yes,
favor at the end of the race? Will you please take a screenshot of
the
the
results.
top 10 and the bottom 10, please?
I will
And then
definitely
could
do
you
so,
send
Ivan.
that through to me so that I can also just take a look here. We will also be getting the top 3 into the party chat with us for the post-race interviews. So I will just need to see who the top 3 are.
Boys, for my knowledge, I'd like to find out on the technical side of it. Are we connecting? So let's say you racing the host, the race, Ivan, and do we then, or you the host, then log on to their server that hosts our race in the back end? It'll be interesting to find out how it works. Then by all means we can blame Codemasters fully.
Well, Zunaid, so
Hmm.
you've got your African servers, you've got your European servers, you've got your
Correct.
North American servers,
Which
South
basically
American
sits in their
servers.
data center.
Yes,
right.
exactly.
So
So
it could be on the data center that this issue is.
it
Could very well be.
could really be, but I mean, this it's also just comes down to the point of if you're going to be releasing a game that early, you guys need to make sure that it is working properly. I mean, the last update that we had, besides the update for the liveries, was the helicopter was moving too quickly. I mean, who's worried about the helicopter?
We are worried
Well,
about connection.
The utmost important here is that Gary's still winning this race by a full lap.
For myself,
My bad
it
sense
was-
of
and,
humor almost wanted to come out and make a pure joke, a very poor joke of said he crashed out, but he didn't, guys. He's still
He's been really consistent. Your favorite word, consistency.
Yes, no, he has definitely been
that is my favorite word
top.
tonight.
He's definitely been top of the charts tonight.
Throughout everything, from the qualifying sessions to the race start to the race finish, Gary Braden has been the leader as it stands still on lap 55, gentlemen and
He
ladies.
deserves it.
As I turn
He
that
deserves
around.
it.
Right. Right, Willem, we're going to be listening to your
last lap commentary.
Yes,
Your
so
last
as
lap
we start
commentary.
lap 56, Gary Braden just crossed the straight finish to start lap 56. He's leading the Mercedes of Snake Hips. We've got Krusty that just also left the session. Krusty being in the Haas, which crashed out earlier. We've got number 3 is Quadus in the McLaren. Number 4 is it Anthony in the Alfa Romeo, leading Beer Boost in the Ferrari, leading from Dean the Fat Bean in the Red Bull, leading 7th also Bloodsucker in a Red Bull, Cipadilla in 8th in Force India, Racing Point. We've got Kat Cranbon in the Haas in 15th, Chantar 16th and 17th, the two Renaults van Mashadangsta, which also left the session earlier. Going back to Gary as the leader, going onto the back straight now. He's just managing his race at the moment, flat taps, going into the braking zone now, approaching the hairpin, perfectly executed, kissing the apex there, getting a good exit. Nothing silly going on here at the moment with him. Approaching the last corner, through the apex, touching the curb, kissing it nicely, going to his right hand side, and he finishes in first. Gary Braden wins the Chinese Shanghai Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen.
Well done, well done.
Fantastic.
Snake
Well done to Gary Braden.
On his way. Still a few corners for him to go. Following him around. He's approaching the end of his race. Following Quadus in third. Not too much between them. Small mistake now for Snake Keeps can compromise his second place. Snake keeps going onto the back straight right now. Full taps open for him. I suspect nothing silly from him as well. I someone want to touch my steering wheel and help him out here, but it's excitement now. Marcia Youngster just got a 5-second penalty for unserved penalty, so I think he's going to stay in 17th. But here we go. Snake keeps going to the last corner now, kissing the apex very nicely, riding the curb on the exit. Going onto his right hand side to take the checkered flag for second. Going to Quadus, he's coming down to the hairpin, kissing the apex very nicely. Also suspecting nothing silly from him. I think they're all very happy this race has come to an end. A full wet race, 100%, no dry. He finished wiggling around on the final finish on with getting some interesting things here for 4th and 5th, all finishing the race because they've been lapped. Guys, this has been your race. I'm going to give you the standings as it is now, just waiting for the screen to go over. Ivan, I'm going to do the screenshots for you just in a moment.
Sure, thank you.
Here's the podium. What a race from Gary Braden. Snake keeps in second. And we've got number 3, the McLaren of Quadus.
I think under the conditions, well done to everyone.
Yeah.
So that is Gary Braden first, Stephen Harrison in second, and Kyle in third place. Very, very well done to the top 3.
Alright, Ivan, I'm doing the screenshots as requested. Just waiting for them to upload so I can share it with you.
Gary Braden has joined my party. Fantastic. We're just waiting for the other 2 drivers.
Right, Ivan, I'm sending the first 10 to you.
Fantastic, thank you.
There's the first one is sent, Ivan.
Thank you.
Just waiting for the confirmation on my side. I don't know if you have received it, if you can just confirm to us if you have.
Okay, I will take a look now in 2 seconds. I have not received anything just yet.
I'm sending the second one at the moment.
Let's just. There we go, they're all coming through now. Let's just see here. Still nothing coming through.
Alright, there's the first one coming through to you,
Kyle,
Ivan.
good day. Still nothing coming through. Right, we're
Alright,
just waiting for Stephen.
both have been sent, Ivan.
Alright, let's just find alright, so just bear with me, gentlemen. Just bear with me quickly.
To the viewers, just a confirmation that Ivan will be visiting Codemasters with this unfortunate happening of the stream. Putting a lot of pressure now on you, Ivan. Send us some pictures of what it looks like inside, eh?
I will do my best, gentlemen.
Give us a sneak peek of what they're busy with there in the development side.
Ja, hello mensen.
Well
Gary,
done,
we
Mr.
will be with you
Braden.
in a second.
Hey,
We'll
how's
be
shot,
with you in a
man?
second,
Yeah, I
alright.
see. It's my people here tonight. Maybe that's why.
Yes.
Maybe that's why we
We've
did so
had,
well tonight.
some awesome commentary guests via Zunaid and Willem. Willem's been kind enough to do the last few races as I was disconnected. We are just waiting for Stephen to.
Well done, Gary. Good race, brother. Representing.
Oh, that was an exceptional drive.
Stephen now.
Sorry, man. I went too far away from my Xbox.
Alright. Good evening, Stephen. Okay, so if you push your Xbox button in and you go to the party, you'll see there's a box that you can tick right at the top of the party. Just make sure you got a tick on that.
Include my audio.
Got it.
Include my audio, yeah. Alright, let me just make sure that everything is running out perfectly. Alright. I'm getting some feedback from you, Stephen, so we will quickly do your interview so that we can try and get a clear line. Stephen, you ended up finishing in second place. Well, let's quickly run down the grid. Gary Braden in first, Stephen in second, and Kyle in third. Stephen, quickly, just from your side, how was the race? Quite a bit of a surprise there with a wet race in the beginning.
Yeah, it was alright. It was. I'm not very good at rain, to be honest. A bad start, dropped down to 8th, I think, from 9th, got up, and then dropped back down into 8th, and then got stuck behind an Alfa Romeo for 3-4 laps, and then just put foot down, just tried different strategy, went for 2-stop, got on with it, and it was a fairly decent race from my point of view, to be honest.
Fantastic. You mentioned, you did actually have a really bad start in the beginning there, but you have clawed your way up back into second. So you will be just a couple of points behind Gary Braden in the standings.
Yeah, I think it's looking good for us too, to be honest. I think 1-2s all the way, first 3 races. Hope it carries on, you know. To be fair, Gary is supreme in the wet. Like, nobody can challenge him, to be quite honest.
Yes, definitely looks like he took a few pages out of Ayrton Senna's books there.
100%.
Right.
Definitely.
Right, then we move on down to Kyle. Kyle, third place. Well done. You did quite well in the qualifying sessions. How was the beginning of the race for you? Fantastic. And towards the end, how'd the car feel towards the end? I mean, it was a full race in the wet. Were you quite surprised with the outcome of the race? Fantastic. Any other thoughts on the race from your side? All right, fantastic. And then we move over to our winner of round three, Shanghai, Gary Braddon. Gary Braddon, you seem to have dominated that whole session tonight. Tell us about your qualifying.
It was awesome, eh? I was, if you notice, I was holding back quite a bit in Q1. So yeah, in Q2 just turned it a notch.
Gary, can you hear me? Oh, and it looks like my whole party has now failed. Let's see if I can quickly get back into it. Sorry, viewers. We are really having some horrible bugs this evening. Let's just quickly see if we can join back into the party here. All right.
Exceptional race in the wet.
All right. Sorry about that, gentlemen. Seems the party had crashed. Gary Braden, could you just tell us more about the beginning stages of your
Yeah,
race?
wait, Willem asked a question. Look, the managing part is quite easy in the wet. I mean, in the wet, you don't need to run your high engine modes. So you save a lot of fuel, and obviously your ERS doesn't go down as quickly. You don't need to use a lot of high engine settings, only on the straights mainly. You see?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get a lot of spin if it's
That's it.
if it's too high.
That's it.
Yes,
That's it.
and then let's get to the first lap. I see you went wide in turn, I think it was 3 or 4, which caused you to have a bit of spin out, and then you were down in 4th, and you clawed your way all the way back up to first place. That is a brilliant drive from your side.
Yeah, shot, man. Callum actually hit me from behind.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's how I
Be
spin
interesting
We
out.
missed
to
it.
see how that filters through within the penalties.
Yeah, I sent him a message already. I said he's gonna get a penalty. He needs to start at the back of the grid every race for the next 5 seasons.
The FI is stepping in their full steam, eh?
So yeah, it was a great race, man. It was good.
Fantastic. And final thoughts from your side?
I can't wait for the next one. Baku.
Next one being Baku, yes.
Yeah.
Very tight track with the longest straight on the F1 calendar. And very unforgiving with the barriers being right there. There's no runoff areas.
Yeah. No, I can't wait for Baku. Especially like now, I don't know if you saw the quali lap in China. Q3, I picked up a bit of a slipstream from my teammate. Little bit of
Yes,
a
down the back
slipstream.
straight.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, we
but
saw
that
that.
wasn't planned. He was just at the right place at the right time. You don't really need to plan a slipstream, yeah. 80% of the time you might get somebody on the straight, depending on your timing
Yeah.
going out. But yeah,
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Gary Braddon, and congratulations once again on
Well
your
done.
amazing win.
shot, man. Thanks, guys.
And this will definitely be giving you a into the next race. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for joining the technical issued plagued stream for round 3 of the Talk of the Devil League. This is myself, Ivan Dalport, joined by my 2 co-commentators, Willem and Zunaid. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me for the session.
Thank you, Ivan, for the honor. And thank you for
Shot,
Gary
Ivan.
putting up a show like that. Yeah, thank you,
Thanks,
Zunaid.
guys.
Thank you very, very much, guys.
Shot, buddy.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for this stream. We will catch you next week for round 4 of the tournament.